wreck of old 97. They're bringing that back up now.
That's what she's the one who told you about that, Papa.
See, them boys, that boy, he was raised around Sullivan.
Steve Brody.
Steve Brody.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Joanne decided we'd hunt his grave one day. There was, talk about it. I said, now he's buried somewhere around there. And we went down this valley and went down. There's a fishing hole down there called the Brody Hole. They stock it heavy with trout. And we stopped along there and asked people who lived along there if they know where George Brody was buried at. And they didn't even know a thing about it.
Oh.
And we come on out and went on down Poor Valley and we were driving along and there's a bunch of people sitting on the porch. I said, stop here, Joanne, I'll ask these people here if they know anything about it. And I said, do y'all know where George Brody's buried at? And they said that one of them got up and said, yes, sir. I said, I know where he was buried at. Said he's buried over in the other valley. He was in Poor Valley and he was buried over in Rich Valley.
Uh-huh.
And said
Yeah.
he's buried at Blackford's Chapel. And he told us how to get there. Well, we just went on down the valley till we come to the Logan Road and then turned back up to come up to where we were buried at. And we was driving along and there's a feller pulled in the driveway. I said, Joanne, stop and let me ask this fellow if he knows anything about it. I said, hey, he got out and walked over. And I said, do you know where George Brody's buried at? He said, yes, sir, I know where he's buried at. He said that there was a fella come here and found his grave. It's right out in the cow pasture and the tombstones were turned over and no fence around it, and said he'd give us enough money to clean the graveyard off and fence it. And said we've cleaned it off and straightened all the graves up. And I know that so did grass, because you could tell, that it's fresh work the dirt was.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they put a chain link fence around the graveyard, and he paid for it. He told them when he'd give them a lot of money, he said he was a railroad man himself, and he was going around, hunting people where had been killed and all that stuff,
Uh-huh.
old railroad men.
Uh-huh.
And he found his grave, and we drove. He said it's 2 miles from here where it's at, and said you could see it over on the hill. And we drove by and we looked over and saw the fence. It had a chain link fence around it, and the graves was all straightened up, fixed up. But we was running late. We didn't have time to drive up there, but we're going back down there.
Now, how long ago was this that you're telling me? How long ago did you do this?
It's been about a month ago.
That is when they told me about that down in Abington. There's a group that was going out to the grave and clear it all off and fix it up and everything. And they were going to take pictures and everything. And that's when they're going to make a video of it and the story and everything.
I saw a picture in the paper of it, and they've got a big monument sitting. I don't know what,
Well, I didn't see the picture. What paper was it in?
I believe it was in Solve Progress.
Well, I'll have to ask her.
But it's been right a bit ago since they had it.
It's been because actually they asked me if I would like to come, because Doc Lowry was asked to play the Wreck of the 97 and sing it. And that's how that tape come about. He's playing it and singing it, and it's going to be on a video as a part of probably a little portion of a historical documentary. And he said, well, then, harmonicas and French harps were so popular, and everybody was having them in the old songs, especially railroad songs, and he asked me if I would play the harmonica. He said, can you play the Wreck of the 97? And I said, well, I used to. I can try. So I got the right key that he wanted, and we played it, and then we taped it, and so we've got it on tape of him playing and singing, and I'm playing in the background on the harmonica. That's why I played the Wreck of the 97. Didn't I bring it in and play it for him?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I thought I did.
That happened in 1903.
Well, I was going to ask you again about that, because I kind of remembered you saying it back in 1903, and I wanted to be sure before I put it on a tape.
Well, now said in the song, he looked over to his blackface farming and said, shovel in a little more coal.
Yeah.
And when we reach the top of White Oak Mountain, you can watch old 97.
Right. I know the words to it.
Now he was bound to a jump to gut that, cause if he'd went on with him and he got killed, they wouldn't have known what he said.
No, they wouldn't have known what really happened, would they?
Yeah.
He said, when he sings it, it said he either says black, greasy, or dark, greasy. Told him.
Well, he used to
Fireman.
singing around here is when he looked over to his blackface farming.
Blackface. Okay.
You know, all them farming as far as that coal, they was.
We're colored.
Yeah, there was well, if it's white, there was that coal dust and smoke.
Yeah,
It
blackface.
would be-
Well, I'll have to play it again, but I don't know. He said black. I don't know if he said black-faced. Or he might have said a different word. I don't know. I'll have to play it again.
well,
But that's the original word is black-face, wasn't it? Okay.
That's the word. Now that's what I hear. First
What
time
you hear around here? Okay.
The first time I ever heard it was in 1920, I reckon it was. And there was a boy from down in there. They was building a trestle across McCrady's Gap, and he was
That trestle
working.
we come under.
Yeah.
That's
I took a
when
picture of that.
It was this trestle. See, this trestle was here, was the first trestle that went across there.
Oh, is there one up that way?
No,
then?
he's talking about the picture on the rock.
Oh,
The
oh,
one that's
this-
down there.
oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
Now that trestle there was built in 1907
Oh.
and was tore down about. My father took a contract tearing the old trestle down when they built the new.
Yeah.
And I helped tear it down.
Well, now, I'm familiar about the towns in the song and all that, and there was a 3-mile grade,
Yeah, that was.
and he said it was on that grade that he lost his leverage, and you can tell by the jump he made. See, it jumped the track.
Yeah, I saw the picture of the wreck in a newspaper, and I don't know where it's at. I thought it was here, but I've hunted for it since it's got.
Well, if I were going to be living here, I would dig into all this stuff.
And he was.
I love it.
It had jumped off the end of a trestle
Uh-huh.
and was sitting down in the train was sitting down on the end by the end of the trestle.
Well, it said that he lost his leverage, and you could see by the jump he made. So I assume that's when he jumped off the track, and that's the way the song goes. Well, I see. When did I first? I played that probably first time I ever played it on a harmonica. That's the first instrument I ever had was a harmonica, or French harp. Then I was probably around 10 years old or so when my uncle got me a harmonica, and he was a railroader. So, and that's up in Ohio, and he wanted me to learn the railroad songs. So I played the wreck of the 97 when I was about 10, 11, 12 years old. But I didn't know the story on it, you see.
You're getting good at it now.
I would be able to, well, I hadn't played it in years. Nobody ever asked me to or said anything about it. And we were sitting over there at the center, and he says, "Can you play the wreck of the 97? And I said, "I don't know. I haven't played it for years, but I'll try." By George, I played it. I hadn't forgot it. If I know a tune, I can play it. It don't matter. I mean, any tune that I know, I can play it on a harmonica. I can't say that for everything, like all the guitars and stuff, but I've got a electric auto harp, and I've got a slide steel electric guitar, and then I've got the dobro. And I don't play the auto harp hardly at all. I don't know why I like it, but I just didn't have time. I had to let my music go for a long, long time, and years, and then I just got started back about a year ago, less than a year ago, really, when I moved up here and got into playing. I hadn't played a harmonica a long time. I hadn't played
I saw them showing down there in where the left out of the Grand Ole Opry and went over in Missouri, and built. You see, these regular bluegrass musicians didn't like the way they was bringing that new music in down there.
Right,
And they left and went over in Missouri, I believe it was Missouri, and built them.
Yeah.
built hotels and houses.
Mhm.
And I heard them playing on that the other night, and that Boxcar Willie, you know, the
Yeah,
road that train.
I heard him.
And did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
He told him.
I
he
didn't hear that
told- he said
program.
that-
I wish I did, but
he
I
said
know I've
when
heard
he
him.
was a little bitty boy, that there was a freight train, a railroad went right in front of his house, and said then there's a switch down there and one come up behind the house. And he said when he was a little bitty boy, every time a train would come by, he'd run to the door and try to blow the whistle, you know. And he got so he could blow that whistle that's exactly like the train would blow.
Yeah, I've heard him do it.
And he would blow that whistle, and they sent a boy down there to stay. He stayed about a week down there from NBC in Bristol,
Oh,
and they talked to him every night on the news.
oh. Yeah, I like to hear him. I've heard him, on the radio years ago, and now on TV once in a while. He'll be on something. And I like those old time musicians. And one of my favorites also is Roy Acuff. I've got a lot of his songs.
Yeah, I love Roy.
Hey,
See, Roy
the,
Acuff and the
Wabash Cannonball, you ought to hear. I do that on the dobro real good.
the Cook brothers and,
Mhm.
Grandpa Jones.
Yep.
And
Oh, when I was little, I always listened to Nashville. On Saturday night, my folks would go away and leave me home, and my aunt didn't like the country music. She wouldn't let me listen to it. But when they were gone on Saturday night, guess what I listened to? And that's where I got all
well,
this
the first radio,
love of it, I guess.
First radio that was ever in Fort Valley was a fellow lived right here,
Oh,
and we'd come down here every Saturday night and set up till it went off
yep.
and listen to the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, I listened to it from the time I was little, and after I grew up, I still listen to it. But I don't like the way they're messing up our good old country songs.
No, that's how come unbelievers.
Yeah. Well, are they around Gatlinburg too? Tennessee? Some of the old time musicians, don't they have some? You can go down the street and listen to this one, and go down further and listen to that one. There's a whole bunch of them that are in the area. Have their own little.
Dollywood now, but used to be Pigeon Forge.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, took a bunch of boys.
Bonnie Lou and Buster's down there. Did you ever listen to Bonnie Lou and Buster?
I've heard them, but I don't
I took,
recognize them too much.
We took a bunch of Boy Scouts down there to across the mountain there to Cherokee.
Uh-huh.
You know where them Indians perform, Sam?
Yeah.
And it took us the roads in, just old country roads, you know, it's crooked and all.
Mhm.
It took us. We left about dinner, didn't get in there dark.
Yeah.
And now they can go down there in 2 hours and a half.
Yeah. It don't take much now. Well, we used to come back here when I was a small child because my aunt and uncle's parents lived here in Saltville. And we were going up these mountains and the old dirt roads and cement roads, and one day I said something to Jimmy and Aunt Ed about that we used to come across what was called one-way and two-way, and I said, where is that? And Jimmy looked and says, right there. That's one-way and two-way. I said, I can't believe this. Right there you live, and right there.
That's
Because I didn't remember just where it was located from the time I was little,
My belly's just moving.
He's kicking. He's ready.
It's jerking.
He said, you ain't
We,
going to be there too long. I'm getting out of here.
see, that used to be the only way they had to go on to Bluefield and
Right?
Maiden Springs and all over there. We're crossing that two-way mountain.
Uh-huh. And I didn't know that.
It
But I
was
remember
60.
coming over the old roads.
It was 16, wasn't it?
I don't remember the route.
And I've crossed it many times when it showed holy you couldn't hardly get along before we